How are you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at the Infinitypad Launchpad. We're going to look if there is anything to gain over here, if it is legit, and more importantly, how to get started with this launchpad if you do deem it to be worth your time. So a complete overview, a complete rundown if you should invest in this launchpad, yes or no, and a step-for-step tutorial on how to do so. So if that is what you're interested in, make sure to stay tuned. Use the timestamps below if you want to just simply skip over to the part that you're interested in. And with that out of the way, let's get started with the Infinitypad Launchpad review. Alright, so let's get started. Before we do a quick overview of the schedule of today, I start my reviews with looking at the tiered system. It's the most important. If you want something else to see first, then again, use the timestamps. Also, I am no financial advisor, so don't take my word for everything and also do your own research. While you're at it, please make sure to subscribe. It really does help the channel out. Alright, let's get going. So the tiered system is a very basic one, and we're gonna get to it in a second. First, what is Infinitypad and why is it different than other launchpads? Infinitypad is created by two of the most prominent crypto TikTokers, one of them being Crypto Boy, and he's been around the industry for a long time. Now, whether having influencers as owners and CEOs of launchpads, whether that's a good thing or not, I keep that up to you guys. I think we all have our own personal opinions on that, but that's just the way it is with this launchpad. And for the rest, the other USP that they have is that they are cross-chain, meaning that they will have many different chains available for you to participate on with their projects. And last but not least, they are on the BNC Smart Chain. And of course, if you know my reviews, you know that that is one of my favorite chains, and statistically it is actually also one of the best ones. They have been associated with DAOmaker. Infinitypad has worked together with them and has been actually launched/incubated on the DAOmaker platform. That does of course give some form of trust to the launchpad. Right, with that out of the way, let's move over to the tiers. We can see here that they do something very interesting, and that is involving a tier 0. What exactly does that mean? We'll get to it in a bit. Tier 0 is definitely not something we normally see at a launchpad, but okay, a tier 0. Look at this, guys. My hair is not working with me. All right, moving on. Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 3, Tier 4, we can see here that they have a certain amount of allocations per tier from 1 to 12. We can also see that you need a hell of a lot of tokens staked. In short, the token is worth very little, and moving that into a calculator, let's say 006, and then we calculate first the first tier, which is 50,000. And that is probably going to be a very small amount. Let's see, 50,000, yep. So that's $300 for the first tier, which is very, very cheap, relatively speaking, of course. Again, compare this with any of the bigger launchpads, such as DAOmaker itself, then it is not going to be, then you would have seen many higher prices for DAOmaker. It's easily more than 1,000 for the first tier. So compared to DAOmaker, it is very cheap. But of course, if we compare this to other lower tier launchpads, then it's actually quite pricey. Again, it's tier 0, so you will only get one allocation. Now, how much allocation size you will get is not clear. We only know that you will get one allocation, but that does not say how much we will be able to invest per se. If we move over to the projects, we can see that the allocation per winner is between $100 and $1,200, meaning that I assume the smallest tier will be at least $100 allocation, and the biggest one would be around $1,200. Now again, that is not 100% sure. I don't know that, as they don't have any additional information regarding the tiers. I can already assure you we do not have a white paper, nor do we have information on the website, and therefore I cannot tell you guys for sure, but this seems like the most logical explanation. So that is basically all for the tier system. Let's quickly calculate the most expensive tier for you bigger investors out there, or just for reference to see, how much do you need to basically reach the top of this launchpad, and that is going to be a whopping 4.2 thousand US dollars, which, just like I said before, relatively speaking, it is quite a lot, especially considering that this is not a very, very big launchpad. They're quite small. They're definitely not tier 1, and we're in a bear market, so very surprising to see these types of prices. Now, I can assume that the other tiers are also quite pricey, so that is it for the tiers. Now we're going to move over to the team and to the token and all of the utility we have on the website. After that, we're going to move over to the research that I have done and that other launchpads have done on this website to see if that looks good and if we can dig up any additional information on how it's performing. And of course, we'll look at the projects as well. For now though, we can see here as team, we only see 2 people stated down, Pablo Heman and Blockchain Boy, both of which are prominent members of the KOL community, meaning that they have large followings, mainly on TikTok. We can see here Blockchain Boy holding 78 million and one of the most watched educational cryptos channels in the world, and he has been active since the bull run in 2017. Then we also have Pablo Heman. He has 20 million total views and 600,000 followers. He's widely respected in crypto TikTok. His weekly live streams with prominent industry leaders exceed over 15,000 live views. Now, again, we don't really, or we shouldn't really care about how much viewers or subscribers they have. It is not the task of a CEO to be a fancy TikToker or to have a large audience. It is the role of a CEO to make sure that the project is is doing well, doing smoothly, and as a crowdfunding platform, being able to assist the project with the necessary promotions and all that is a good thing, but it's not going to be all that we need. Another thing that I'm noticing is that we only have 2 people mentioned in the team. That is all that we can see thus far, and it is quite little. I assume that they would be working on this pad with more people, and if they don't, then 2 people is definitely not enough for a successful launchpad in the bear market. Now, for the rest though, I do have something to say about this picture, but I'll just leave it to speak for itself. Again, at the end of the day, we have to get a sense of safety and trust from these people, and this is not the message that they are conveying with these kinds of images, also not with the language used, aka Lucas Demos. It is not the language I am looking for when I want to invest my money into a launchpad, as it just comes across like I'm watching a YouTube video. That's not the point here. For the rest, that is all for both the team and the tiers. Let's move over to the FAQ before moving over to the projects and the tokens straight after. So we see here the Infinitypad FAQ. With the general questions being asked over here, such as what is the benefit of the iPad holders? By holding iPad, you can participate in public launches by Infinitypad with 3 times more chances than any other token holder. Right, so this is basically stating that you will be able to participate in the launches without a tier, but your allocation will be small and your chances will be slim, a lottery system. Also, you can participate in the public shows by DAO Maker with a boosted chance. Okay, So all of the utility seems to be for the Launchpad, which is fine, although nowadays it is quite common to see Launchpads also having an NFT marketplace, a swapping mechanism, farming, other things like that. And to see that they don't really have that much utility to the token, of course, it indicates that they don't really put any effort in apart from just the launches. Now, if they do that amazingly, then it's fine. But we have yet to find out if they actually do a very good job on the launches, yes or no. So we're going to look further into that right now. Again, we can look at this for a little bit more though. KYC, of course, pretty important. Do I need KYC to participate in the sales? To participate in our strongholder offerings by the Infinitypad, KYC verification is mandatory. Well, there we go. And that is really all that is interesting here. Let's see what a community round is though. Community rounds are for particular projects are announced on Infinitypad's announcement channel and on Twitter. Make sure you follow them all for updates. Particular projects are announced. Okay, so these are exclusive projects, I would imagine. Do I need tokens or complete KYC for participating in community rounds? No. You do not need tokens or completed KYC for participating in the community round. You just need to follow the instructions in the community rounds from right. So these must be the social task challenges or rounds. So that is for that. Now, again, it is worth pointing out that they did not specifically state this in the tier system. It is usually mandatory, not mandatory, but very much expected to, if there are lottery or community rounds, to put that on the page with the tiers. We didn't see that, and we had to find it over here at the FAQ. Okay, so that's the team, the tiers, and the FAQ. Very straightforward overall. And here, for the most part, is just a lot of fluff, talking about just why they're different. But look at this. I mean, liquidity. Infinitypad offers tools, deck marketing, and expertise to maximize launch liquidity and volume. It doesn't really mean anything. Massive user base. Instantly tap into unlimited numbers of Ethereum native and BSC users with public shows in iPad. I mean, none of this actually means anything. Support from veterans. Look at this. Infinitypad is a joint effort by industry-leading KOLs. But industry-leading KOLs, or even veterans, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will be able to give you, I mean, what kind of support? I mean, we're talking about support from people on the platform. What type of real support are you going to get from them, right? They have a value, they have a need for you to invest, because it's their platform. Besides, are they really experts if they're KOLs? I mean, a KOL should know what he or she's talking about, but that doesn't mean that it's a veteran or an expert that will help you with financial decision making. So let's see here. Premier Launchpad. With its newest edition of the public shows, Infinitypad serves developers and communities across all chains. So we see here the Avalanche, Fuse, Binance Smart Chain, Solano, Celo, and Polygon. So all chains, not so much, but definitely most of the prominent chains are here. So that is just about it for the basic information that you needed to know. Now I'm going to move over to the projects and the token. Definitely incredibly important. If we want to find out whether they have good investment opportunities, we need to look at that. So let's go ahead and start with the projects. So we have a whole bunch of projects listed over here. We see here the total raise, the all-time high, and the lead VC. So this basically indicates how much profit was made at the all-time high, looking from the TGE. Now, a lot of these ended projects don't show an all-time high, apart from, for instance, Rebelbots with it 27 times. But the problem here is, if all of these projects would have made profits, then they would have put it on here. Now, I know for a fact that MyTrade was a bad project that immediately just shrunk after TGE. They did not put an all-time high on this. Kyberdyne, they did put an all-time high of 2x. So what I draw as my personal conclusion is that all of these projects that don't have an all-time high X stated down were projects that ended at a loss, and it's quite a lot of them. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is something to note down, really. And over here we see Chirply, and this is actually one of the projects that is upcoming. So they haven't done it yet, but it is stated here over at the complete and token sales. So there are some bricks missing in the wall, let's just say it like that, but it is definitely worth looking at some of the projects that did give high returns, such as Rebelbots. So let's quickly move over to Rebelbots to see if we can find any information on how this TGE went. The past is a good indication of the future, and I think it will help us understand what the Launchpad launches. So we see here huge gains over here at the TGE. Absolutely fantastic gains, actually. Especially, let's see if the details, if we can find for how cheap they were able to buy the tokens. I'm not sure if they put that information out here, actually, which would be a bit of a red flag. They did post all of their research on here, but they did not place down the price that they listed the tokens for, which is unfortunate. But again, here's the TGE. So they bought the tokens probably for around 10 cents-ish. And over here, the price just exploded. So huge profits were made. But after that, of course, it just simply tanked. And now it is worth basically TGE value. But that is not a bad project per se. Not a bad TGE whatsoever. So Infinitypad definitely launches some interesting projects that have shown to be eligible for some good returns for the investors. Now, if you watched any of my other reviews, you know that I am bullish on Chirply as well. Chirply is a up-and-coming IDO, and apparently they will be launched on Infinitypad too. Now, Chirply, as you guys are well aware, is just an amazing project, and I personally made the forecast that it is going to do very, very well at launch. It is a allocation that I've been trying to get into and that I will definitely make an update video on. I've already made a review video on Chirply if you wish to look at it. So it is already a fantastic and an amazing project, and to see that they are launching on Infinitypad is definitely a positive. Now, again, like I said before, there were some other projects that did very well. So overall, the Infinitypad Launchpad knows how to vet projects decently. And I also want to note down that there's a lot of projects that launch. Now, why is that important? Well, especially for a launchpad such as Infinitypad that does not have a lot of utility to the token apart from the launches on the launchpad. They need frequent and good launches to bring utility to the token so that the price doesn't go down too much. Now, as you can see, the price already dumped a lot, making the tiers very, very cheap. And, that is good. But again, if you invested earlier on, you would have made massive losses just for holding the token because the price devaluated to such an extent. Now, the token, we'll look at that in just a bit, but overall, the project is looking pretty good. Now, I'm not going to go too far into Chirply. I mean, at the end of the day, you can just watch the video on it as well. So that would be much nicer. But yeah, definitely pretty good. The token supply is 1 billion. And the project valuation is 21 million. Initial market cap quite low at 357,000. But again, we're not going to move too far into it. Watch the video. You don't want to miss out on it. It was definitely one of the better videos made. So yeah, so that's the projects. Now let's move over to everything else that there is to discover on this pad. And that is for now the quick tutorial on how to get started and how to buy the tokens and how to stake it. And then moving over to the thorough research on the project outside of the website. So let's dive into that. Now, as for the staking, it is quite simple. Before we stake though, we have to go ahead and purchase the tokens. You can do that on PancakeSwap. Here it is very, very simple. There's links all over the website. So it's very easy for you to find the PancakeSwap link, get yourself the amount of tokens that you want, depending on what tier you would like to have. Once you've done that, go to the homepage of Infinitypad and click on stake. From there, you will be able to do your staking. You see here that the total value locked is more than 1 million. The average APY is 10.5%, and the liquidity locked is at nearly 400,000. Now, you can do here your staking with one active fold. It is the Infinitypad fold. It's active. iPad staking APY 7% and iPad BUSD staking APY 14%. You can click on research and stake, and like that you will be able to go ahead and stake your tokens. And once you did that, you will be eligible for the tier and can start participating in the launches. Okay, so pretty straightforward. The website is a bit laggy, but we're not going to let it bother us too much. We're just going to move forward with the next topic, and that is this coin a scam? And what we're seeing is lots of missing data points, meaning that they do not have a GitHub listed, they don't have a Reddit, they did not list their exchanges on the website. We are missing a project team, meaning that they are not doxed, and we don't know who is behind this team of Infinitypad. Now again, we do have a docs team, we know who the owners are, but we are still lacking a lot of additional information. Man, I have some itches. It is allergy season. Whew. Bitcoin talk thread. Okay, but that's not too important. And then the TradingView profile. They don't have any reviews. And for the rest, as we can see here, they do definitely miss out on quite some information. Now, the biggest information missing, and this is actually quite serious, is they do not have a white paper. That's right. It was not listed on their website. It was not found on Google, not listed on their social media, and the white paper tab on Coinmarketcap leads to a error page not found. Considering that this links to the website, but just a page that is not there anymore, indicates that there used to be a white paper on the website, but they removed it. Now, why would they remove their white paper? Well, it could be simply that it is currently under maintenance. Or it could mean that they got so much criticism on the white paper that they just removed it. Whatever the case, it's not good to be without a white paper for long. We now have absolutely 0 versions of the white paper, and we will not be able to look at either the tokenomics, the vesting schedules, we'll not be able to look at their white paper in general, which is just very, very bad and sloppy. I would personally never invest into a launchpad without a docs team, let alone a launchpad that doesn't even have a white paper or a light paper. So it is actually very serious. Now, moving on over to their Medium, what we can see is that they don't post actively whatsoever. We can see a very, very long wait per article. It takes up to 2 minutes to read only, and they post only twice a year almost. Well, I mean, their last article was quite recent at June the 21st, but for the rest, it takes forever for them to bring out new updates. Now, the updates that they do make are quite interesting, but the most important one I would like to show you guys was their tiered system, because it is a great contrast to show you how much the tiered system has changed over time. As you can see here, this was the tiered system. Back in the day, they had Earth, Moon, Solar, Galaxy, and Infinite, which are now tier 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they had one tier that did not have a requirement for any tokens. It was just a marketing tier. Now they still have it, but it's no longer listed on their site. Of course, the names of the tiers have changed as well. And as we can see, the price changed violently as well. Also now, we don't know the pool weight, and we did know the pool weight beforehand. So as you can see here, the first tier here being 10,000, right now the first tier is 100,000. So they improved the price 10 times. Why? Well, because when they made it, the price of the launchpad was around here, and now the price is around here, and they wanted to continue to earn money, so they just increased the price. Well, you make your own judgment call on that, but that is what it used to look like. For the rest though, not very active over on a Medium. They do have 11.3 thousand followers. As for their Twitter, they do have a lot more followers here, 173,000 to be exact. They seem to be based in Italy and they joined Twitter on April 2021. Also here they do post quite regularly. We see here a post from the 6th of August, here a retweet on the July 19th, and overall most of what they do are retweets. And when they do post, they usually promote an update or a Medium blog article. For here though, they do share a somewhat interesting tweet about the 21st of June, a whitelisted wallet, a investment opportunity. So yeah, they do quite some updates. I believe Twitter is a great way to stay in touch with Infinitypad, their updates and their upcoming launches. Telegram, however, I have seen was even more active, and that might even be the best way to stay up to date, but you can do it with Twitter just fine as well. Overall, I don't see any per se negative sentiment over on the comments. People seem to kind of be chilling. They do ask questions, but the account of Infinitypad seems to actually actively answer those, which is good to see. Now, last but not least, I want to go back to DAOmaker, as they actually partnered up with Infinitypad and they did their research. Now, DAOmaker is quite good at doing their research and usually they vet projects quite thoroughly. So the fact that this made it through DAOmaker definitely gives it some, let's call it, street cred. Now, we see here the research that DAOmaker has performed, as it is all completely open. And this is actually a chart that I found that was quite interesting. Here, DAOmaker shows what the differences are between Infinitypad, BSCpad, and Kickpad. All three, I believe, launchpads on the BNC smart chain. And we see here that they're all IDO launchpads and on the BSC smart chain. Then we see project incubation is exclusive to Infinitypad. Vaults are also exclusive. Fiat on ramp, toll bridge, and DAOmaker ecosystem. And we can see that their market cap is much smaller, bringing higher possibilities for bigger pumps to the project, and valuation being much smaller as well. So that overall looks very positive. Here we can see their roadmap of 2021, that is. So the roadmap consists of tech integration with DAOmaker, private sale, public sale, the CEX and the DEX listing, and the testnet on the Binance Smart Chain. Q3 was followed by the mainnet on Binance Smart Chain, summer batch of incubated projects, and the partnerships with top tier KOLs and projects. Q4 we see the fall of batch of incubated projects and further ecosystem development. Now, did they hold true to this roadmap? I believe they did decently. Of course, this is quite an old roadmap, and I haven't seen an updated 2022 roadmap, which of course is quite problematic. But I mean, them not having a white paper or a light paper at the moment is pretty much problematic in and of itself. Then we see here Infinitypad iPad revenue streams. So the project launch with a fee and the project incubation with a fee, and that creates iPad. What technologies Infinitypad created and used? The BSC Smart Chain, Solidity, Web3, and Truffle. Then what is Infinitypad's marketing strategy? Strongholder offerings on DAOmaker include a massive airdrop and staking campaign on the new DAO vaults. 20% of all tokens will be airdropped to all DAO holders in our staking contracts. The Infinitypad team has allocated approximately $600,000 to KOLs, exchanges to deal flow of partners. So again, they mainly emphasize on the KOLs. Those are key opinion leaders, mostly because, of course, the owners of this launchpad are KOLs themselves. And there's nothing wrong with KOL marketing. I do wonder if just having big airdrops, staking campaigns, and KOL budget is enough to fill up the projects. But I suppose time will tell, and thus far it's been looking to work out pretty well for the Infinitypad Launchpad. Now this I found pretty laughable. What is the Infinitypad tokenomics? And here we literally just see a picture of vault staking, IDO participation, and governance. Now what does this mean? I have no idea. These are certainly not tokenomics, or not the ones I'm used to. The picture doesn't say me anything, it doesn't give me any value, and this is the closest I was able to get to tokenomics. So yeah, that is quite disappointing and quite frankly also very confusing. And also this is not in order, so yeah, there's that. Oh, it is actually, never mind, I looked at it wrong. Anyways, this is the research that DAOmaker has done, and DAOmaker has actually launched a lot of launchpads, so it's nothing new, but it is good to see that it made it through the DAOmaker vetting process, which is quite a tough one. Alright you guys, so that is basically all for the Infinitypad Launchpad. Quick recap, what did we talk about today? We talked about what the Launchpad is, what projects it has, how to participate, and of course the DAOmaker research, plus the community sentiment, social media, and the tier system. I love dissecting white papers and tokenomics. I would have loved to done that as well, but I couldn't find anything. I also like going to LinkedIn and look at the teams, but also that was not available. So because of that, unfortunately, a slightly shorter video. Now, of course, what are my personal predictions for Infinitypad? I am not very bullish on it. I can see the price it absolutely bumped out, and it's been so long since they made actual good gains that I know we're in a bear market, but I have a hard time being very bullish on this launchpad. But what do you guys think? Let it be known down below in the comments. On Coinmarketcap, we definitely see around a 50-50 between bearish and bullish, so I'm curious what you guys think about it. For now, however, thank you guys so much for joining in again. Hopefully you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Ciao, ciao.